The Montreal Canadiens look to keep the good times rolling. They welcome in the Pittsburgh Penguins. Stuart Skinner draws the net for the Penguins, 11-9-4, 293 goals against average, 887 save percentage. And for the Habs, Jacob Fowler gets his 4th career start, 332 goals against average, 885 save percentage, looking to pick up his first win at the Bell Center. Mike Matheson back in the lineup for the Montreal Canadiens. Jaden Struble finally gets benched. Matheson goes on to a pairing with Dobson, Hudson with Carrier, Engstrom with Jackeye. Newly acquired center Philippe Danault will not be making his debut tonight. Looks like he's going to be starting for the Habs on Tuesday against Boston, but there may be a wrinkle to that. We'll get to it later. The Pittsburgh Penguins have been ice cold. Losers of 7 in a row coming in tonight. Crosby coming into this game just 1 point behind Mario Lemieux for career points with the Penguins. And the Atlantic is so tight. One game can be the difference between 1st and 5th, so this is a really big game for the Montreal Canadiens. It starts off relatively quick. Evans gets engaged physically, then Jackeye tries to throw the body, but he actually ends up taking a penalty. He gets called for boarding. This is exactly what Jackeye has to avoid if he wants to avoid getting benched by Marty, but it sends the Penguins to an early power play. And the Montreal Canadiens penalty kill comes up huge. They don't allow the Penguins to do anything. They actually generate a couple of shorthanded chances. Anderson ends up ripping one off the crossbar, but it was a terrific PK. Pittsburgh got nothing done. Both teams go through the first period trading chances. It's even. There are chances going both ways. Novak nearly scores. Texier misses wide on a 2-on-1. Fowler actually ends up stopping a breakaway after Engstrom gets caught on a bad play at the offensive blue line. Jackeye even has an offensive chance. The teams are trading chances back and forth. Both goalies making big saves. Even Stuart Skinner, to his credit, actually coming up with big saves against Veleno. Veleno had a couple chances and Skinner stopped both of them. But finally, with about 4 minutes to go in the first period, Hayes ends up tripping up Joe Veleno. The Habs go on to their first power play of the game, and special teams again for the Montreal Canadiens coming up big. The first unit looks great. They get a couple early chances, and after 50 seconds, Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, and Juraj Slafkovsky, all 3 of them team up. Great goal from Slap, his 10th of the year. His offensive touch is just growing and growing. He has been getting so much better, and the production is finally coming for Slap. He's been over a point per game for his last 15 games. He's really finding his groove offensively. I did not expect Slafkovsky to be scoring and producing points at this rate, but I am very happily surprised. And the Canadiens could say, yeah, that's it, that's enough, we've done what we've needed, we've got a lead, we're gonna go into the intermission, but they don't. They keep pushing, and finally, Owen Beck, 3rd time's the charm. It's the 3rd time he scored his first career goal, and this one is not getting called back by anything. No offside challenges, no one else touched the puck last. It is going to count for Owen Beck, his first career goal, ripping down the left wing, firing a shot by Stuart Skinner. It's a really nice goal, and of the 3 goals that he did score so far, this is the best one. So for him, happy for him. He gets his first career goal for the Habs, puts the Canadiens up 2-0. Ideal start for the Canadiens. It was a strong first period. They had just a couple defensive lapses. They were a little bit loose in front of their own net a couple times, and it led to some Pittsburgh chances. Evans unfortunately went off really early with a knee injury. It was almost a no contact injury, very light contact. I have a bad feeling that he's going to be out for long term, but what that means is guys like Owen Beck aren't going to have to go down to Laval, and maybe Philippe Danault can just slot into Evans' spot on the 3rd line. Owen Beck can stay up with the team on the 4th line, so it could be a blessing in disguise. And on that Beck goal, Lane Hudson actually got his 100th career assist, the fastest ever Montreal Canadiens defenseman to reach that milestone. Faster than Chris Chelios, faster than Guy Lapointe, faster than PK Subban, faster than anyone to ever wear the Bleu Blanc Rouge of the Montreal Canadiens, which is just crazy to think about. Canadiens go into the second period, and Jacob Fowler comes up with multiple big saves throughout this period. While the Canadiens are up 2-0, he keeps their lead at 2. He doesn't let Pittsburgh get back into this game. He holds down the fort. He makes some gorgeous saves. He just robs Dewar early in the period. Sidney Crosby got caught with a stick. It was a dangerous looking play. They originally called it as a double minor against the Canadiens. I think they did that just so they could review it. They do review it. It was clearly Kulak's stick that caught Crosby. No penalty, but Fowler keeps stepping up and making big saves for the Canadiens, and the Canadiens are not giving up offensively. They're still putting shots on net towards Skinner. It's a pretty even period, and Jacob Fowler was rewarded for making critical saves while the lead was still at 2. After the Canadiens do take a penalty and go shorthanded, Pittsburgh has a chance to get right back into this game, but Josh Anderson gets sprung by Oliver Kapanen on a shorthanded breakaway, a great little lob pass, and Anderson turns on the Jets, burns the Penguins defenders, rips a shot under the arm of Stuart Skinner, and extends the Canadiens' lead to 3-0. He rewards Jacob Fowler for the timely saves early in the second period. And it's exactly the kind of goaltending Montreal has been sorely missing throughout the season. When Sam Montembeault was playing, when Jacob Fowler was struggling, especially in November, they weren't getting those saves when leading or trailing to keep them in games or keep them ahead in games. And this is the difference. Jacob Fowler makes timely saves, keeps the Canadiens in front, and they get a chance to extend their lead. Pittsburgh has to play more and more aggressive as the deficit grows and grows. So Montreal's counter-attacking game can afford to be even more selective, and it can be even more efficient. And it works beautifully. The Canadiens get into the second intermission up 3-0. What else could you hope for? They've allowed only 13 shots through 2 periods. They've played very well. Offensively, they're converting on their opportunities. They're generating high danger chances. Defensively, they're playing sound hockey. And when the goalie has to make saves, Jacob Fowler is stepping up and making some really big saves for the Canadiens. Habs go into the third period. They know the mission. It's very simple. You've got a 3-goal lead. You cannot afford to be blowing these ones. And for the first 8 or 9 minutes, Pittsburgh generates absolutely nothing. Maybe a shot or 2 on goal throughout the entire first 8 or 9 minutes. Finally, though, the Penguins get a bit of a lucky break. Lane Hudson gets called for a bit of a soft cross-checking penalty. It puts the Penguins up on the power play, and this is where Pittsburgh's offense finally shifts into gear and they start putting chances on net. And I think there are 4, 5, maybe even 6 chances on the power play. All of them stuffed by Jacob Fowler. He was terrific on this penalty kill. By far the Canadiens' strongest penalty killer on this occasion. They were a perfect 3 for 3 on the night shorthanded, and Fowler stepped up. Pittsburgh tried their damnedest to get back into this game. They ended up pulling their goaltender with 7 minutes left. Montreal was blocking shots. Nick Suzuki, Joe Veleno, both of them sacrificing the body. Juraj Slafkovsky put one off the post on the empty net, but finally, with just over 3 minutes to go, Josh Anderson scoops up a loose puck in the neutral zone, rips it back towards the Penguins' end, and he puts the Canadiens up 4-0, and that is all she wrote. Fowler makes a couple more saves, prevents the Penguins from spoiling the shutout, and he becomes the 3rd youngest goaltender in Montreal Canadiens history to record a shutout. The only 2 younger, Patrick Roy and Carey Price. Now that is some elite company. What a performance by the rookie, though. He completely frustrated Sidney Crosby and the Penguins all game long. Sid looked livid on the ice on multiple occasions, and this was a great way for Fowler and the Canadiens to show, look at what you're missing out on, Sid. If you're going to leave Pittsburgh, make sure you choose this place. The defense played well all night long. They didn't allow too many chances 5-on-5, and until that last Penguins power play, they had no momentum going. The offense got out to a lead. They knew exactly what they had to do. They knew they could just afford to counterattack, wait for opportunities. They didn't have to push too hard. And then Jacob Fowler stood on his head for the last 10 minutes, got a standing ovation from the crowd. They were chanting his name during the 3-star selection. And it's just such a great story. And you can see the look in Fowler's eyes as he's taking it all in and realizing how special of a place Montreal is to play hockey in. You can't write this kind of stuff. The kid gets his first career shutout in his 4th career game. His first win at the Bell Center is a shutout against Sidney Crosby and the Penguins. What a story. But the Habs quickly have to regroup and go to Pittsburgh to play the Penguins again tomorrow night in the second half of a back-to-back. The big question, though, with Jake Evans' injury, who is going to come up for the Montreal Canadiens? They can't take anyone from the Laval roster because they were in travel status today without putting Jake Evans onto injured reserve. So we'll know pretty shortly how serious that Jake Evans injury is. Are they going to try to rush Philippe Danault in to get him to play? Or are they going to have to take a body up from Laval, call Jared Davidson back up to the NHL maybe? I don't know. Anyway, you guys, let me know what you thought in the comments section down below. Tell me about your line combinations for next game. Who's going to come in? Is it going to be Danault? Is it going to be someone else? Is Jacob Fowler going to get the start in net? Are they going to go back-to-back with Fowler? If you've made it to the end of the video, please consider giving us a like and a subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And have a great night, guys.